Have you ever felt like you're finally about to make a breakthrough, maybe in your career, your fitness, or a relationship, and then, out of nowhere, you just stop? You stop answering emails. You pick a fight. You spend 4 hours scrolling through TikTok instead of doing the work. We usually blame bad luck or the world for our problems. But what if the obstacle isn't outside of you? What if the obstacle is you? Today, we're diving deep into a book that has changed millions of lives. It's about self-sabotage, why we do it, and how to turn that mountain of resistance into a path of growth. By the end of this video, you won't just understand why you're stuck, you'll have the map to get out. Chapter 1. What is self-sabotage, really? Most people think self-sabotage is a character flaw. They think they are lazy or undisciplined. The reality is Brianna Wiest argues that self-sabotage is actually a coping mechanism. It is a way your brain tries to protect you. 1. The conflict of two selves. To understand sabotage, you have to realize your brain is divided into two. A. The conscious self. This is the you that watches YouTube, sets New Year's resolutions, and wants a better life. It operates on logic. B. The subconscious self. This is the you that operates on survival, habit, and emotion. Its only job is to keep you safe, not happy. Self-sabotage happens when your conscious self wants to go somewhere new, like a new job or a healthy relationship, but your subconscious self views that newness as a threat. Because the subconscious is more powerful, it pulls the emergency brake. 2. The benefit of the bad habit. Every self-sabotaging behavior has a hidden payoff. If there were no benefits, you wouldn't do it. A. Procrastination. The payoff isn't laziness. The payoff is protection from judgment. If you wait until the last minute to do a project and it fails, you can say, I just didn't have enough time. If you gave it your all for 3 weeks and failed, you'd have to admit you weren't good enough. Procrastination protects your ego. B. Pushing people away. The payoff is avoiding rejection. If you break up with someone before things get too serious, you control the ending. You don't have to face the terrifying possibility of them leaving you first. C. Staying in a dead-end job. The payoff is certainty. You know exactly how much you'll be bored and how much you'll get paid. The mountain of a new career involves the risk of the unknown, which your brain hates. 3. The upper limit problem. Wiest explains that we all have an internal thermostat for how much happiness, love, or success we think we deserve. This is often called your upper limit. When life starts getting too good, maybe you get a promotion or find a partner who actually treats you well, you exceed your internal setting. You start to feel anxious. To fix this discomfort, you subconsciously create a problem. You might start an unnecessary argument or engage in an old vice just to bring your happiness temperature back down to a level that feels familiar and safe. 4. The familiarity filter. Your brain is biologically wired to prefer familiarity over favorability. If you grew up in a chaotic household, chaos feels safe to your nervous system because you know how to survive it. If your life suddenly becomes peaceful and stable, your brain might actually interpret that peace as danger because it doesn't know the rules of a peaceful life. Self-sabotage is the act of trying to recreate your past because you are afraid you won't survive the future. 5. Identifying the need behind the sabotage. To stop sabotaging, you have to stop judging yourself and start investigating. Every time you hold yourself back, ask, what unmet need am I trying to fulfill? A. The behavior of your mindless scrolling for 3 hours. Then you need to be overwhelmed and need a mental escape because I don't know how to set boundaries with my workload. B. The behavior of you getting angry and yelling at a loved one. Then you need to feel ignored and I'm using anger as a tool to force people to listen to me. Imagine you're driving a car with 1 foot on the gas, your dreams, and 1 foot on the brake, your fear. You aren't broken, you're just trying to drive in 2 different directions at once. Self-sabotage isn't an act of self-hate, it's a misguided act of self-protection. To move forward, you have to show your brain that being happy and successful is actually safer than staying stuck. Chapter 2. Identifying your mountain. In Brianna Wiest's philosophy, the mountain isn't just a random obstacle in your path. It is the manifestation of your unmet needs and your internal triggers. It is the gap between who you are and who you want to be. Most of us think we are being held back by outside forces, the economy, our boss, our upbringing, but often, we are the ones standing in our own way. Let's break down the most common ways we sabotage ourselves, and we're going to dive deep into each one so you can see exactly how they show up in your daily life. 1. Resistance, the invisible anchor. Resistance is that heavy, physical weight you feel when you know exactly what you need to do, but you simply cannot bring yourself to do it. You have the gym clothes laid out, the laptop is open, the to-do list is right in front of you, and yet, you find yourself scrolling on your phone for 3 hours. This happens because your brain perceives change as a threat. Even if the change is good, like starting a business, it is unfamiliar. Your subconscious mind prefers a known hell over an unknown heaven. Resistance is your mind's way of trying to keep you safe in the comfort zone, even if the comfort zone is actually making you miserable. 2. Upper limiting, the success ceiling. This is a concept that explains why many people blow it just when things are going well. Have you ever had a perfect week where your work was on fire, your relationship was great, and you felt healthy, only to pick a random fight with your partner or spend money you didn't have? That is upper limiting. Every one of us has an internal thermostat for how much happiness, love, and success we think we deserve. When the temperature of our lives gets too high, we get too happy, our internal alarm goes off. We feel uneasy, like the other shoe is about to drop. To fix that discomfort, we create a problem, a self-inflicted disaster, to bring ourselves back down to a level of stress we are familiar with. We sabotage our joy to feel normal again. Here's your question on reality check. Be honest with yourself for a moment. Have you ever reached a goal or felt truly happy, only to immediately find something to worry about? That's your upper limit. What is the one thing you usually do to sabotage your own happiness? Let me tell you about a case study, the successful saboteur, the corporate burnout. The mystery of the falling star. In the professional world, we are taught that success is a straight line upward. We believe that once we reach the peak, the big title, the corner office, the dream salary, everything will finally click into place. But for many high achievers, the moment they reach the top is exactly when they start to fall. This isn't because they lost their talent or became lazy. It is a psychological phenomenon known as self-sabotage. This is the story of Sarah, a woman who climbed the mountain, only to start throwing herself off the ledge. Phase 1, the 10-year chase. For a decade, Sarah was the golden girl of her marketing firm. She was the first one in the office and the last one to leave. She didn't just meet targets, she shattered them. Her entire identity was built around the pursuit of one specific goal, becoming the vice president of marketing. To Sarah, this promotion represented more than just money. It represented making it. It was the shield that would protect her from ever feeling inadequate again. She sacrificed vacations, weekends, and even her personal health to keep her record spotless. Finally, the day came. The CEO called her in, offered her the VP role, and the announcement went out to the entire company. Sarah had arrived. Phase 2, the uncharacteristic collapse. The week after the promotion, something strange happened. Sarah, the woman who had never been late in 10 years, overslept and missed a crucial board meeting. A few days later, she sent out a high-stakes campaign pitch with glaring, amateur typos. When her long-term colleagues tried to offer help, Sarah didn't thank them, she snapped. She picked unnecessary fights, accused her team of incompetence, and created a cloud of tension wherever she went. To an outsider, it looked like Sarah had changed or lost her edge. But internally, Sarah was in a state of quiet panic. She couldn't understand why her hands wouldn't do what her brain told them to do. She was accidentally destroying the very thing she had spent a decade building. Phase 3, the psychology of the safety zone. Why would a brilliant person act so foolishly? The answer lies in the subconscious comfort zone. Even though Sarah's conscious mind wanted the VP role, her subconscious mind felt terrified. For 10 years, Sarah knew how to handle the stress of being a striver. She was comfortable being the person climbing the ladder. But being at the top of the ladder felt exposed. The subconscious thermostat. Think of your subconscious like a thermostat. Sarah's internal success temperature was set to high-achieving manager. When she became VP, the temperature got too hot for her internal system. To cool things down and return to a safe temperature, her brain began to sabotage her performance. Her subconscious didn't feel safe with that much power. It associated the VP role with extreme loneliness. There's no one above me to protect me now. Imposter syndrome. Now that I'm here, everyone will finally see I'm a fraud. Loss of identity. If I'm not striving for something, who am I? By oversleeping and picking fights, Sarah was subconsciously trying to get herself demoted or fired. She was trying to return to a level of stress and responsibility that she felt qualified to handle. Phase 4, the recovery and realignment. Sarah's breakthrough didn't come from a time management seminar, it came from a deep look at her own beliefs about worthiness. She had to realize that she was sabotaging her success because she didn't believe she deserved the view from the top. She had to reset her thermostat. 1. Acknowledge the fear. Sarah had to admit, I am terrified of this new responsibility, rather than pretending she was fine. 2. Redefining safety. She had to teach her brain that power did not mean danger. She began building a new support system of other executives who felt the same way. 3. Self-compassion. She stopped punishing herself for the mistakes. Once she stopped the shame cycle, the accidents stopped happening. Key takeaways for the audience. 1. Success scares the subconscious. Reaching a goal often feels like losing the safety of the chase. 2. Mistakes are messages. If you are suddenly failing at things you used to be good at, ask yourself, am I afraid of what happens if I actually succeed? 3. Upper limit problem. We all have an internal limit on how much success, love, or wealth we allow ourselves to enjoy. When we hit that limit, we sabotage. The goal is to consciously expand that limit. Conclusion. Sarah's story reminds us that the hardest part of success isn't getting what you want, it's having the courage to keep it once you realize you are worthy of it. 3. Guilt tripping, the martyr complex. Many people stay stuck because they carry a subconscious belief that being happy is selfish. You might feel like you don't deserve to thrive while your parents are struggling, or while there is so much suffering in the world. You use misery as a way to bond with others. If all your friends complain about their jobs, you might feel like an outsider if you actually love yours. So, you stay miserable to stay connected. You are choosing belonging over becoming. But here is the truth, you cannot light up the world by sitting in the dark with everyone else. 4. Perfectionism, the ultimate procrastination. We often mistake perfectionism for high standards, but it's actually a shield. If you tell yourself it has to be perfect before you launch it, you never have to launch it. If you never launch it, you can never be judged, and you can never fail. Perfectionism is a way of staying safe by never actually finishing anything. The why exercise, digging for the root. Wiest suggests that we don't do anything unless we are getting some kind of benefit from it, even the bad habits. This is called secondary gain. To climb your mountain, you have to be brutally honest and ask yourself, what is the benefit of staying exactly where I am? Look at these common examples and see which one stings the most. A. The benefit of chronic stress. Does being stressed out make you feel important or productive? Does it give you an excuse to avoid intimacy or deep work because you're too busy? B. The benefit of being broke. Does being broke keep people from asking you for money or favors? Does it give you a valid excuse for why you haven't pursued your true dreams yet? C. The benefit of staying single. Does being single keep you safe from the possibility of a devastating heartbreak? Is your loneliness actually a suit of armor? D. The benefit of being the victim. Does having a problem to complain about ensure that people give you attention, sympathy, and validation? Identifying the benefit doesn't mean you are a bad person. It means you are human. But once you realize that your mountain is actually a defense mechanism, it loses its power over you. You realize that you aren't stuck, you're just protecting yourself. And once you feel safe enough to let go of that protection, you can finally start to climb. Chapter 3. Emotional intelligence, the climbing gear. Now that we've identified the mountain, we need the tools to actually climb it. In traditional self-help, people tell you to just think positive or discipline your mind. But Brianna Wiest argues that you cannot simply think your way out of a mountain, you have to feel your way through it. Here's a question on body scan. Think about the last time you felt a negative emotion like anxiety or anger. Where did you feel it in your body? Was it a tight chest, a heavy stomach, or a lump in your throat? Tell me in the comments where your stress usually lives. This is where emotional intelligence, EQ, comes in. Think of EQ as your climbing gear, the ropes, the harness, and the boots that keep you from falling. Most of us spend our entire lives running away from bad feelings. We see discomfort as a signal to turn back. We eat, drink, scroll, or work ourselves into exhaustion just to avoid sitting in a quiet room with our own sadness or fear. But Wiest offers a perspective shift. Your feelings are not obstacles, they are messengers. They are trying to give you data about your life. The messages under the surface. If we stop viewing emotions as good or bad and start viewing them as information, the entire game changes. Let's look at what your negative emotions are actually trying to say to you. A. Anger is a boundary scout. When you feel a flash of heat or resentment, your body is telling you that a boundary has been crossed. It is a signal that someone is taking advantage of you, or that you are not being treated with the respect you deserve. Anger isn't there to make you mean, it's there to tell you where you need to say no. Let me tell you about a case study, the boundary breakthrough, the people pleaser. The invisible weight. Imagine waking up every morning with a heavy stone sitting on your chest. You aren't sick, and nothing bad happened yesterday, but you feel a sense of dread. This is the reality for the chronic people pleaser. On the surface, they are the nice friend, the reliable sibling, and the easygoing roommate. But beneath that calm exterior is a boiling cauldron of hidden exhaustion and a simmering, unexplained anger. This is the story of David, and how he transformed a negative emotion into a life-changing breakthrough. Phase 1, the myth of the nice guy. David was the kind of person everyone loved having around. If a roommate forgot to wash the dishes, David did them. If a friend needed a ride to the airport at 4 a.m., David was there. He prided himself on being low maintenance. He believed that by saying yes to everyone else, he was maintaining peace and harmony in his life. However, David had a secret. Every time he picked up someone else's slack or gave up his weekend to help a cousin move, he felt a sharp, hot flash of irritation. Because he didn't want to be confrontational, he pushed that feeling down. To cope with this growing internal pressure, David turned to digital numbing. He would spend 6 or 7 hours straight lost in video games. He told himself he just loved gaming, but the truth was deeper. He was using the game world to escape a real world where he felt he had no control. Phase 2, anger as a messenger. One evening, while staring at his monitor, David realized the gaming wasn't working anymore. The simmering anger had become a constant companion. He felt a deep resentment toward his roommates just for existing in the common room. He finally stopped asking, "How do I get rid of this anger?" and started asking, "What is this anger trying to tell me?" When we look at the psychology of emotions, we find a profound truth. Anger is not a bad emotion. Anger is a defensive tool. It is the body's alarm system that goes off when your boundaries are being violated or your needs are being ignored. David began to analyze his simmering feelings. He realized he wasn't actually mad at his roommates for watching TV, he was mad at himself for never asking for the quiet time he desperately needed. His anger wasn't a problem to be solved, it was a messenger delivering a telegram he refused to open. Phase 3, the boundary blueprint. David decided to stop suppressing the messenger and start listening to the message. The message was clear: your privacy and your time are being stolen because you haven't built a fence around them. He sat his roommates down for a simple, honest conversation. He didn't yell, and he didn't blame them. Instead, he implemented 3 boundary breakthrough rules. 1. The deep work rule. From 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., his door would be closed. This meant, do not disturb, unless the house was on fire. 2. The chore rotation. He stopped doing everyone's dishes. He stated clearly that he would only handle his own, and if the sink stayed full, he would simply leave it. 3. The Sunday reset. Sunday mornings were his time for reflection and prep. He stopped accepting social invitations before 2 p.m. on Sundays. Phase 4, the vanishing act. The result was almost instantaneous. Within a week of setting these clear rules, the unexplained anger vanished. David realized that the anger didn't leave because his roommates changed, it left because he had finally taken action to protect his own mental space. He no longer needed to spend hours gaming to escape his life, because he had built a life he actually enjoyed being present for. Key takeaways for the audience. 1. Stop numbing, start listening. If you feel random irritation or exhaustion, look at where you are failing to say no. 2. The price of yes. Every time you say yes to someone else's request, you are often saying no to your own peace of mind. 3. Boundaries are not walls. A wall keeps everyone out. A boundary is a gate that lets the right things in and keeps the wrong things out. Conclusion. Like David, you might find that your negative emotions are actually your greatest allies. When you respect your boundaries, the world learns to respect them too. B. Sadness is a compass of care. We often try to numb sadness because it hurts. But sadness only exists where love or value once lived. It tells you exactly what you still care about and what is important to you. It highlights the gaps in your life that need to be filled with new meaning. C. Guilt is an alignment check. Guilt is that nagging feeling that you've done something wrong. It isn't meant to shame you forever. It is a signal that you have acted out of alignment with your own highest values. It is your internal moral compass nudging you to get back on the right path. D. Envy is a map of potential. When you feel jealous of someone else, it's often because they have something you subconsciously know you are capable of achieving. Envy shows you what you truly desire but haven't given yourself permission to pursue yet. The strategy: riding the wave. So, how do we use this climbing gear in real life? Wiest suggests a strategy that sounds simple but is actually quite brave. Sit with it. Most of our self-sabotage comes from the fear of a feeling, not the feeling itself. We are so afraid of feeling anxious that we procrastinate for weeks. But the physical sensation of anxiety usually only lasts a few minutes if you don't fight it. 1. Acknowledge the visitor. When a heavy emotion hits, don't try to fix it or distract yourself immediately. Mentally say, okay, I am feeling sadness right now. 2. Locate the sensation. Where is it in your body? Is it a tightness in your chest? A pit in your stomach? By focusing on the physical sensation, you move out of the story in your head and into the reality of the moment. 3. Let it pass like a wave. Emotions are like waves in the ocean. They peak, they crest, and then they break and dissolve. They only become stagnant or permanent when we try to block them. If you let the wave wash over you, it eventually loses its power. When you stop fearing your emotions, they lose their ability to control your behavior. You no longer have to sabotage your success to avoid feeling exposed. You no longer have to stay in a bad relationship to avoid feeling alone. Once you realize you can survive any feeling, you become truly free to climb as high as you want. Chapter 4. Releasing the past. As we get higher up the mountain, the air gets thinner, and the climb gets harder. This is usually where we realize we are carrying too much weight. One of the heaviest burdens you can carry is the ghost of who you used to be. Many of us are desperately trying to build a brand new life, yet we are still clutching onto an old identity that no longer fits us. Wiest emphasizes a powerful, somewhat painful truth: to move forward, you have to mourn the person you thought you'd be. We often sabotage our current happiness because it doesn't look like the plan we made for ourselves 5 or 10 years ago. We feel like failures not because we aren't doing well, but because we aren't doing what our younger selves expected. 1. Mourning the ideal version. We all have a fantasy self, the version of us that exists in an alternate timeline where everything went perfectly. Maybe you thought you'd be married by 30, and since you aren't, you treat your current life as a waiting room rather than a reality. B. Maybe you thought you'd have a high-powered career in a specific field, and now you feel like a fraud in the job you actually enjoy. C. Maybe you're holding onto a version of yourself that was the smart one, and now you're so afraid of looking dumb that you won't try anything new. When you don't mourn these lost versions of yourself, you can't fully inhabit your actual life. You are essentially haunted by a ghost. Releasing the past means saying, that version of my life didn't happen, and that is okay. I am letting go of the imaginary me, so I can finally meet the real me. Here's your question on the ghost identity. Is there a version of yourself, a dream career or a past relationship, that you're still mourning? What is one old identity you need to officially let go of to make room for your future? 2. The trap of the victim identity. Sometimes, we hold on to the past because it gives us a sense of identity. If you have been the person who was wronged, or the person with bad luck, for a long time, letting go of that story feels like losing yourself. Who are you if you aren't the victim? Who are you if you don't have a problem to solve or a trauma to point to? Releasing the past requires the courage to be nobody for a while until you can build a new, empowered identity. It means choosing a future that is better than your past, even if the past is more familiar. The concept of microshifts. When people realize they need to change, they often try to do a total life overhaul. They want to change their diet, their job, their city, and their personality all in one Monday morning. This is a recipe for burnout and more self-sabotage. Instead, Wiest teaches the power of the 1% shift. Imagine a plane taking off from New York heading to Los Angeles. If the pilot changes the trajectory by just 1 degree at the start of the trip, that tiny, invisible shift will eventually land the plane in a completely different city, maybe Tijuana or San Francisco. Let me tell you about a case study, the 1-degree pivot, the aspiring creative. The mountain of someday. We all have a mountain in our lives. For some, it's starting a business. For others, it's learning a new language or getting into the best shape of their lives. But for many, that mountain is so tall and the peak is so hidden in the clouds that we never even put on our hiking boots. We stand at the base, staring up, paralyzed by the sheer scale of the task. This is the story of James, a man who spent 5 years dreaming of a destination but never took a single step, until he discovered the power of the 1-degree pivot. Phase 1, the trap of great expectations. James was a natural storyteller. In his head, he had a sprawling, epic novel planned out. He knew the characters, the plot twists, and the ending. Every New Year's Day, he would make a resolution: this is the year I write my book. But James had a problem. When he sat down at his computer, he didn't see chapter 1. He saw page 300. He saw the daunting task of finding a publisher, the fear of bad reviews, and the thousands of hours of labor ahead. Because the mountain felt so massive, his brain perceived the task as a threat rather than a goal. To protect him from the danger of failure, his mind would choose procrastination. He would spend his time researching the best writing software or reading books about writing, rather than actually writing. 5 years passed, and James's word count remained exactly 0. Phase 2, the geometry of change. One afternoon, James came across a concept used in long-distance navigation. If a plane is flying from Los Angeles to New York and the nose of the plane is shifted by just 1 degree, the plane will end up hundreds of miles off course, landing in a completely different city or even a different state. James realized he had been trying to teleport to the peak of the mountain. He was trying to change his entire life overnight, which led to burnout and analysis paralysis. He decided to stop trying to be an author and instead committed to a 1-degree pivot. He stopped focused on the 300-page finish line and focused entirely on a system he called microshifts. Phase 3, the power of 50 words. James made a deal with himself. He didn't have to write a chapter. He didn't even have to write a page. He committed to writing just 50 words a day during his morning coffee break. 50 words is roughly the length of a long text message. It's almost impossible not to do it. It was a goal so small that he couldn't use lack of time or lack of inspiration as an excuse. Month 1, James felt silly. 50 words felt like nothing. But for the first time in 5 years, he was actually writing every single day. He was building the habit of being a writer. Month 4, the momentum began to shift. On some days, he would write his 50 words and feel a spark. That spark would lead to 200 or 500 words. Because he had lowered the barrier to entry, he found it easier to enter the flow state. Month 9, the mountain didn't look like a mountain anymore, it looked like a series of small, manageable hills. He wasn't writing a book, he was just showing up for his morning coffee. Phase 4, arrival at the peak. In 14 months, James did what he couldn't do in 5 years. He finished his first draft. He didn't need a life overhaul. He didn't quit his job or move to a cabin in the woods. He didn't wait for the muse to strike. He simply changed his daily trajectory by 1 degree. By the time 14 months had passed, that 1-degree shift had carried him all the way to the finish line. Key takeaways for the audience. 1. Lower the bar to build the habit. If you are paralyzed by a goal, make it smaller. Make it so small it's too easy to fail. 2. Systems over goals. A goal is the destination, a system is the path. James stopped focusing on the book, goal, and focused on the 50 words, system. 3. The compound effect. Small actions, performed consistently over time, create massive results. You don't need a 180-degree turn to change your life, you just need to pivot 1 degree and keep walking. Conclusion. The biggest obstacle to your dream isn't a lack of talent or a lack of time. It is the size of the mountain in your mind. Break the mountain down into pebbles, pick up 1 pebble a day, and eventually, you will realize you've moved the entire mountain. In your life, you don't need a massive explosion of change. You need a micro-shift. A. In your health, instead of a marathon, it's a 10-minute walk. B. In your mindset, instead of, I am a failure, it's, I am learning how to do this differently. C. In your habits, instead of writing a whole book, it's writing 1 paragraph before bed. These micro-shifts are sustainable. They don't trigger your resistance because they don't feel like a threat. But over time, these tiny changes compound. If you change your trajectory by just 1 degree today, you won't notice much tomorrow. But a year from now, you will look back and realize you've arrived at a destination you once thought was impossible to reach. You didn't leap over the mountain, you walked it, 1 tiny step at a time. Chapter 5. Building your new self. We've done the heavy lifting of identifying the mountain and releasing the past. Now, we come to the most practical part of the journey, actually becoming the person who lives on the other side of that mountain. This isn't about a sudden, magical transformation. It's about future self-mastery. Most of us wait until we feel like a success to start acting like one. We wait for the confidence to arrive before we take the lead. But Brianna Wiest flips this on its head. You don't wait for the feeling, you build the character through the actions. 1. The future self-visualization. I want you to close your eyes for a second and imagine your life 5 years from now. That version of you has already climbed the mountain. They've solved the problems you're currently losing sleep over. They have the peace you're currently chasing. Now, look closer at their logistics, not just their achievements. Don't just look at the bank account, look at the behavior. A. The morning ritual. How do they wake up? Do they hit snooze 5 times and scroll through social media, or do they rise with a sense of purpose and a clear mind? B. Emotional resilience. How do they handle a rude email or a setback? Do they let it ruin their entire day, or do they breathe, respond with grace, and move on to the next task? C. Self-respect. What do they eat for lunch? How do they talk to themselves when they make a mistake? The secret to climbing the mountain is realizing that your future self is just a collection of the decisions you make today. If you want to be that person in 5 years, you have to start acting like that person in the next 5 minutes. Here's a question for your future self. If you met the version of yourself from 5 years in the future, the one who already climbed this mountain, what is the first piece of advice they would give the you that is watching this video right now? Two. The logic. Success is boring. We love the idea of the lightning bolt moment, the big break, the viral video, the sudden inheritance. But the reality of a high-quality life is much less cinematic. Wiest explains that your life is not defined by the 1 or 2 big things you do, it is defined by what you do every single Tuesday at 2 p.m. Success is a series of boring, daily habits. Peace is not found in a tropical vacation, it is found in your routine. If your average day is chaotic, your life will be chaotic. If your average day is built on a foundation of health, focused work, and connection, your life will inevitably become a masterpiece. This is why Wiest says, you don't need more motivation, you need better systems. 3. Designing your systems. Motivation is a feeling, and as we discussed in the EQ section, feelings are like waves, they come and go. If you only work when you're motivated, you will never reach the summit. Systems, however, are the gears that keep moving even when you're tired. A. Environmental design. If you want to eat better, don't rely on willpower, change what is in your pantry. B. Decision automation. Don't waste mental energy deciding when to work out. Make it a non-negotiable part of your 8 a.m. block. C. The minimum viable day. Define the 3 tiny things that, if completed, make the day a success. This keeps you moving forward even on your worst days. Building your new self is simply the act of narrowing the gap between who you are and who you want to be, 1 habit at a time. When you stop looking for the big leap and start focusing on the high-quality average day, the mountain begins to shrink. Before you know it, you'll look down and realize you aren't at the bottom anymore. You're standing on the peak, looking at a view you once only dreamed of. Here's a question on your commitment. We've talked about the theory, but now it's time for action. If you knew for a fact that you could not fail, which mountain would you start climbing today? Chapter 6. The conclusion, reaching the summit. We've covered a lot of ground today. We've looked at the habits that hold us back, the emotions we've been afraid to feel, and the old versions of ourselves we've been clinging to. But as we close this out, I want to leave you with the most important lesson from the mountain is you. The mountain isn't there to block you. It is there to reveal you. Most of us spend our lives wishing the mountain would just disappear. We wish the struggle would end and the path would be flat. But if the path were flat, you would never have to grow. You would never have to develop the strength, the grit, or the depth of character that you possess right now. The mountain is a filter, it burns away everything that isn't the real you. 1. The transformation is the destination. We often think that reaching the summit means getting the money, the house, or the perfect relationship. But Brianna Wiest argues that the summit isn't a place or a thing. The summit is the version of you that was required to get there. The person you become while climbing, the person who learns discipline when they feel like quitting, the person who chooses self-love over self-sabotage, and the person who practices resilience when the weather gets rough, that person is the whole point of the journey. Even if the mountain changed or the goal shifted, you would still have that strength. You don't just to get a better life, you build a better self, and a better self naturally creates a better life. 2. Radical self-compassion. If you're standing at the base of your mountain today, feeling overwhelmed by how far you have to go, I want you to take a deep breath and remember this. You are not your mistakes. You are not your trauma. You are the one who survives them. Your past self did the best they could with the tools they had. They used self-sabotage to protect you when you didn't feel safe. They used resistance to keep you from being hurt. Thank that version of yourself for getting you this far, but gently tell them that they are no longer needed for the next part of the climb. You have new tools now. You have your climbing gear of emotional intelligence and your map of micro-shifts. 3. The view from the top. The beauty of climbing your internal mountain is that once you reach the top, your perspective changes forever. You no longer see obstacles as bad luck, you see them as opportunities to level up. You no longer see your emotions as problems, you see them as guides. You realize that the mountain was never actually an enemy. It was a teacher. It was the very thing that forced you to wake up, to grow up, and to finally step into the light of who you were always meant to be. So, take that first 1% step today. Don't worry about the whole climb. Just worry about the next few inches. Because one day, very soon, you're going to look down from the peak and realize that the mountain didn't break you, it made you. Closing. That brings us to the end of our journey through the mountain is you. If any of this resonated with you today, I can't recommend enough that you pick up a physical copy of Brianna Wiest's book. It's one of those, keep on the nightstand, reads, something you'll want to flip through whenever you feel that old resistance starting to creep back in. Call to action. Before you go, I want to hear from you. We talked about the power of the 1% shift, the tiny trajectory change that leads to a whole new life. What is one micro-shift you are going to make today? Maybe it's drinking one extra glass of water, writing one sentence in a journal, or finally sending that email you've been dreading. Whatever it is, tell me in the comments. I read every single one, and I want to support you on your climb. And if you're ready to stop being your own obstacle and start becoming your own hero, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. It helps the channel grow and ensures you don't miss our next deep dive into the books that change lives. Thank you for spending this time with me. Be patient with yourself, keep moving forward, and I'll see you at the top. Stay tuned with a new book summary next Friday.